Hello, welcome back to a live playoff reaction. We got the whole gang here. Drew's here, Dehls, Riv, John, you're here. I don't know if you've seen the comments on the episode that we did, 377. People think you're looking very tall. How tall are you? What's your height?
On a good day with the right insoles, 5'10",
Modest
maybe.
5'10".
Maybe.
You're
I
looking
look a lot
brolic
taller
though.
than-
That's what I saw.
I look a lot taller than Dehls though, because my seats are as tired. So that would be why.
Give him
This
a
is a
flex,
special
bro. Let him know.
occurrence. We have the whole gang here. You got to drop a like for that right now. You got to drop a like because we got the whole gang here. Riv is here with his glasses looking fresh with that do-rag. Make sure you guys go use Prospects. Use code PAS, 100% deposit match up to $100. But that's it for the promo because you guys know what we're here for. We're here to recap the
Celtics.
Mavericks
Oh.
OKC game. We'll talk about that after, Mr. Dehls. But, you know, the fans have kind of been honest. They've been like, listen, you guys are only going live when Dallas lose. But Dallas won today, and Luka Doncic showed up. Never a doubt. He's still playing hurt. Still playing hurt. Just
Oh, now
let that be
this.
known. He is still playing hurt. 31, 10, and 11. After game 4, when the Mavs lost a heartbreaker to the Clippers, almost had a 26-point comeback, but they lost. People thought that maybe the Clippers might be winning the series. Game 5, Luka goes out and has a masterclass, 62% true shooting, a near 30-point triple-double, I believe. And if it wasn't triple-double, it was a near triple-double.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he did here. His most efficient game of the playoffs. I even felt like in the second half, he was settling a little bit too much. If he played how he played in the first half throughout the entire game, I think he could have dropped 40. I still think he's being bothered, but you know, Luka showing up is huge. But we got to talk about this Mavericks defense. This Mavericks defense that's caught slack, but in the last 20 games of the regular season, they've been number 1 in the NBA. And through how many games in the playoffs? 11 games in the playoffs, they've been an elite defense. This is a great defense. Not only do they have rim protectors, but they have wings that can block shots like Derrick Jones Jr. and PJ Washington. The story of today's game might be made about OKC going 10 for 40 from 3, 25%. That's not going to cut it. But I think that you have to give credit for how Dallas is defending OKC and the type of shots they're giving OKC. These are threes late in the shot clock. They are not rotating their bigs out the spots. And that's why a big reason why SGA has struggled in the paint in this series. And so has the majority of OKC's players. They're not hitting their threes. Lou Dort attempted 8 threes. You want him shooting threes. You got to shoot a little bit better. But this was just a classic Mavericks defensive game, just showing us all playoffs why they're a great defensive team, holding OKC to 92 points. I mean, that's a great achievement.
And that's kind of been the common denominator throughout these playoff series. I mean, you go through every win Dallas has had. Go back to the Clippers series when they're winning 93 points. This is the opponent's score, 93 points, 90 points, 93 points, 101 points, 101 against the Thunder, 92 against the Thunder. It's really just one game, which looks like was this game 2 against the Thunder they won. They allowed 110 points. But other than that, every other victory for them has been 101 or less points. If that's what you're allowing in today's NBA, when you have this prolific offense with 2 great shooters, 2 great offensive players in general, and Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic, that's probably going to get the job done. You know, you got to give credit. I think that's the number one reason why Dallas won this game, and in general has been, you know, pretty damn good in these playoffs. Of course, you had some injuries in that Clippers series, but, you know, even if Kawhi was 100%, I do think that the defense would have made some stops where they were needed to. With that being said, defense was number 1, but the number 2 reason is Luka Doncic. You know, you can't have as bad of a game that Luka had in game 4 and expect to win. You know, Kyrie Irving even struggled in this game. But if Luka Doncic is going to give you a 30-point triple-double on great efficiency, he's not complaining to the refs. He's playing some defense, had a big block on SGA. The game was kind of over, but there was a chance at the end of the game they could have made a comeback. Had a big block on SGA with around a minute left. The turnovers were limited. He had more turnovers than field goals made last game. So I think he had 2 or 3 turnovers the entire game. This was the Luka Doncic I think we were all expecting coming into these playoffs. And this is the Luka Doncic that I understand he's going through injuries, but if he's able to have these performances, because these get sprinkled in, like I know he's had a few bad games throughout this playoff run where he's really been inefficient. The turnovers have been high. but he's also had games where he's having damn near triple doubles and he's been able to shoot around 60% true shooting. And it's kind of like, yeah, this is a Luka we know, even though he might not look 100%, the production's still been there. So I don't know if the series is over. It's 3-2. You're going back to Dallas. Each team has been able to win games on the road. I think there's a good chance this is a 7-game series. But if you're a Mavericks fan, you have to feel pretty good the way the defense is playing. PJ Washington, although he wasn't, in terms of production, had the best game today, but he had a couple big shots, especially had a big three, a corner three in the fourth quarter of that game when OKC was going on a run. I think they were a 10-0 run at the time. It was about a 7-point game. PJ Washington hits a big three, and that kind of settles everything down. The crowd gets quiet. Now it's a 10-point game. That was a huge shot. I think he only made 2 or 3 on the game, but overall, PJ Washington has been probably their most consistent player in this round, and he's had games where he's been the best player on the Mavericks team. So number one, I agree with you, Joel. It's been this Mavericks defense. But number two, if Luka Doncic is going to play like this, I think you have to look at yourself as Dallas and be like, you know what? We have a puncher's chance against Denver.
I want to start by saying this. I really want to start by saying this because as I'm reading the comments, it's making my stomach irk. For you Dallas Mavericks fans that have this weird feeling that I give a fuck if you guys win or lose, it's not a time. I don't pick and choose when I come in here. I'm just very tired. I have a life outside of whatever you guys do. So when I can make it, I can make it. As far as ducking when the Mavericks lose, I truly don't care. My agenda was in the first round. They beat the Clippers. I moved on from that. I lived my life. I'm just reading the comments, and it's just like it's insane what they're saying. As for number two, I do want to give the Dallas Mavericks defense some credit for sure. I definitely wasn't moved in the first round for missing their best player, their best offensive player, him not being 100% healthy. I didn't really feel the need to I don't want to say need, but I didn't feel like that defense was impressing me too much. I know Dehls mentioned he thought they would, because we would never know because it's a hypothetical, but I wasn't really moved. This round though, for sure, definitely have moved needles in my brain. His defense has definitely been locked in, been more engaged 1 through 5. I love the fact that they're able to send help and they're so communicative and they can, they're able to just pick up the next man. And I like how they operate. I do like the defensive responsibilities that they placed onto Derrick Jones Jr. He's been amazing on SGA when he's had the opportunity to guard him. The help defense has been great. They've just been a great cohesive defensive unit in the series, and this is the series that I've been the most impressed with because this is one of the best offenses in the regular season. So the fact that you can do this to an offense that's been elite pretty much from start to finish is something you got to look at. For OKC, where was everybody else at? I mean, you're like, where was the help? Where was the guys that've been a top 3 seed all league? Where was the J-Dub is top 20 talks? Where was Shet? Was this impactful play? Where was all that? Where was these guys today in a pivotal game 5? It felt to me like they walked into the game and they all lackadaisical. They look young. They look just like they're not engaged fully. They look like they're just not really. They don't understand the moment. They don't understand what's going on. This is game 5. You have an opportunity to go up 3-2, go to Dallas, do something historic, and one of the youngest teams in NBA history to make the playoffs. And it just felt like to me like this team wasn't prepared by the coach. This team wasn't prepared individually, and they just didn't come to show. I mean, Dallas came in and they knew exactly what they wanted to do from start to finish. They handled it. Defensively, they were locked in. Offensively, you saw the way they were moving the ball and creating open looks at the rim. I mean, for OKC, you got to look at this as just like a young, inexperienced moment at game 5, and you don't show up. But like you mentioned, Luka gets all the credit in the world. Unfortunately, Kyrie did not come to play today, but Luka was amazing. Lively and Gafford, the way they were, rotating at the rim and being great at rolling, they were doing their thing. And just the other guys, the other guys I felt like stepped up in big moments. You had Tim Hardaway Jr., who clanked, I think, his first 3 open jumpers, hit a few after that to keep the momentum high. It was insane when he took those 2 shots.
Oh, yeah, it was terrible.
He's hilarious. But to come back and then hit another shot was definitely a moment like, nah, I still got it. So you had the other guys stepping up. And PJ Washington didn't have this. Yeah, I did say to him, thank you, Dehls. PJ Washington, he didn't have his big game like he did before, but he was still impactful, still making plays. And you got to give Dallas all the credit in the world. They just, Jason Kidd had them prepared. Luka came to play, and they put on the show.
Jaden Hardy ate up all of Dante Exum's minutes this game.
Yeah, that was
R.I.P. Dante Exum's minutes. Johnny boy, let's hear it.
You want to hit it? Okay, I'll hit it. The biggest
What?
thing for
Yeah,
me
hit it, John.
watching.
Hit
Oh,
it, John.
hit it hard.
I'm just trying to see if Drew wants to speak. My fault.
All
The
right.
biggest thing when watching this series to me is just the levels in which these teams are at. For Oklahoma City, it's easy to forget because they were the number 1 seed this year. This is their first year making the playoffs with Shea. And to me, it feels like the Mavericks are just a tier above in how much they've learned from past postseasons. So take the Mavericks in 2022 when they went to the conference finals. That team can only play one way. Their half-court offense was limited. They're one of the slowest teams in the NBA. Their defense was very one-sided, one-dimensional. But this time around, the postseason is a lot more versatile of a team. The biggest thing to me is Kyrie comes in, they move from bottom of the league in pace to 6th in pace. And you see today an extra 7 points in transition. It's Derek Lively getting deflections. And then it's Luka, your best player, getting out in transition and scoring. And I think that rubs off on all those other guys. A couple possessions later, you see Josh Green guarding full court. And that ball pressure and intensity that the Mavericks have brought has kind of just overwhelmed this Oklahoma City team in a way where Jalen Williams, second best player in the team, is in year 2. He's struggling today when he's getting to the paint because the Mavericks just are a lot more poised. And that comes on both ends of the floor. The shot selection, the driving kicks, the shot quality is really just a testament to how well they're shooting right now. 40% from 3. How many open corner threes are they getting? More than the Thunder. And another part of that, too, is the fact that Luka, the deeper into this postseason we go, is continuing to play better and better. And we're seeing right now the 2 most dominant teams in this Western Conference are the Mavericks and the Nuggets. It's because they've got the 2 best offensive engines in the half court. And I think that's what it comes down to in the playoff environment. When those 2 guys are playing at their absolute best, you're not going to find an engine who can generate more points. And that's just how you're going to win playoff games, most importantly.
I say that to say it's still fucking OKC in 7, Drew. We're here.
Oh,
You gotta
brother,
die
we
with
never will move.
Delusion
First it was
like
OKC
company.
in 5. It was OKC
No, you
in
lost
6,
me with you
and
said
now
5.
never
5
in
was
doubt.
crazy.
OKC in 7.
Wait a second. Wait, which
First
one
off,
took Oklahoma
we
City in
haven't
5?
started.
He
I'm
did.
sorry,
It
God.
wasn't me.
Oh, it was
He
me.
said
It was
that.
me. It was me.
Okay.
It was me. And
He was
listen, I
wilding with
stand.
that.
I'm here. Listen, OKC was looking good. I look like a genius after game 1, but of course you got to let everything play out. But first off, let me say to the almost 400 viewers, I know a majority of you are Mavericks fans. And of course, I do appreciate when you guys tune in. Usually it is when the Mavericks do win. And of course, hell, I would watch if my favorite team won. But I always say, let me rephrase that. You guys always love to say that. If you guys like to call Riv the Duck Man, you like to call me. I like to duck when the Mavericks lose. But a lot of you guys aren't keeping that same energy when the Mavericks lose. But again, you guys won. Give your credit where credit is due. Luka Doncic was absolutely out of this world tonight. He actually wasn't complaining, wasn't looking for a foul every time he was going up. He was aggressive. He was locked in. He was in a zone. And that's the type of Luka Doncic that we've been waiting for in this series. He asserted himself. And now, of course, now the Mavericks go ahead and take a 3-2 lead. You had Derrick Jones Jr. start the game 6 for 6. He came out and gave them a huge spark to start this game up. Of course, understanding that Derek Lively was a force to be reckoned with. A lot that I want to give credit to Derek Lively for, obviously not just his defense, which you guys have already given a bunch of credit for, which is under 100% what I want to do as well. But at the same time, I want to give him his respect for at the free throw line, being able to stay so damn stone cold, especially in your first year in the league, hitting your free throws in those big moments. He did it earlier in this series, doing it again today in game 5. A lot of credit to Derek Lively at the line. But I look at OKC, and SGA is going to be SGA. Of course, you never have to worry about that. But, Riv, you hit it perfectly. J-Dub was supposed to be in these top 20, top 25 conversations.
No, he was never supposed to be there.
Oh,
no,
but
he
John,
wasn't. That was just a hot take
He
people
wasn't
made.
supposed to, but
That was a
he
reach.
entered that at the end of the regular season.
No. People made those hot takes. He was never a top 20
He
player
never
at the end of
belonged
regular
or
season.
established himself. You established
he
yourself
was
by
approaching.
performing.
That's
well.
people trying to jump the gun on
Dehls,
what he
listen,
was.
you're
Look,
missing-
this
that's
spot
not
brought it
the
up.
point.
People like that, right there, right there.
The
People-
point
where he
is
at?
not that the point is not whether to argue whether he's top 20,
Crazy.
top 25.
Well, he didn't play up to his standards. That's the point.
That's
the
the
point.
exact point.
Yeah.
That we have not seen J-Dub be aggressive, not be consistent. And the closest that we saw to him being aggressive and consistent was for a 3-4 play stretch in this fourth quarter. And then after that, like Joel mentioned, you have PJ hitting that 3, and then you have him actually shorting a shot in that mid-range box area. Again, there's just a lack of consistency from the supporting cast. And this was supposed to be a big 3 with Chet, with J-Dub, and of course Shea being the lead of the 3. And again, the I don't want to group Chet into this, but at the same time, we saw Lively really dominate that matchup tonight. I give a ton of credit on the defensive side. Lively really held it down in that regard, especially when it came to guarding Chet. But J-Dub needs to be more aggressive, needs to be more consistent on the offensive side. I like on the defensive side, I like what OKC has done, especially understanding that this is one of the best offenses in the league, talking about the Dallas Mavericks themselves, but we have yet to see a consistent OKC offense in this series outside of course, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but not being able to knock down the three, shooting if I'm not mistaken, 25% from three tonight. Also, it looked like early in this game, they were passing up the three-point shot in their own head, that they weren't being as aggressive, or they weren't being they're not as trusting in their own jump shots as we've seen them be one of the best.
First time.
We lost Drew a little bit here.
To add a little commentary to
He's
that.
probably still talking.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm here. We saw Oklahoma City be one of the best. All right, what do you mean? I'm here?
Just let him finish. He's almost done.
Whoa,
No, I'm sorry. I know you guys. I get it.
Finish
You
him
guys
off.
want to get out of here. I understand it's late.
No.
Apologize, Riv.
Hard,
But
John.
hey, you're slut.
We got
But
time,
OKC
man. Finish your monologue.
OKC has been one of the best three-point shooting teams in the league. And then in this series, we really haven't seen them be as that consistent team that we've seen early. But credit to the Mavericks. I obviously have to give praise and credit where credit is due, because they went out here on the road. And hey, all I've done when the Mavericks have won is give them their credit.
It just took them being 3 games to 2 for you to do it. That's all it took.
Not necessarily true. When they won and tied the series up.
Okay,
PJ Washington. When they went up
to sample size against a healthy
PJ
team.
Washington, great job. Every time that the Mavericks have won, I've given them their respect. I have.
Picking OKC in 5 is clear disrespect to Dallas.
That was before the series. Again, we all
that's clearly disrespectful.
I was wrong.
Clearly disrespectful.
But again, after game 1, when OKC won by 20, everyone here was, this isn't going to be the
Clippers
walk
did the
in the
same
park.
thing.
Say it
Of
again?
course, it wasn't going to be a walk in the park.
Got to lose game 1.
Right? No, for sure. He knows. He's a mastermind. I got to start taking that into my analysis now. From here on out, game 1, Dallas is going to lose.
Did the Raptors in 2019
they lost
lose every game 1?
For people saying they're going to lose that series, the Magic, some people were. They're delusional. I want to add to that point, though, Drew. A big part of this series is that the Derek Lively effect has been, for a rookie center, pretty sensational. He has a plus 22 today. Daniel Gafford, who started, was negative 10. And the biggest thing for this Maverick team is rebounding in size, right? Not only does PJ Washington have 10 rebounds in the starting lineup, but for Lively as well on the defensive glass, he's been cleaning everything. And for an Oklahoma City team that is shooting so poorly, they need to get those second chance points. But today, he completely cut that off. And I think for a rookie center, we see guys like James Wiseman or Marvin Bagley. He was a power forward coming to the NBA all the time, and they struggle mightily defensively. So for Lively to be a huge positive in the second round of the playoffs, that's a huge testament. That's probably the Mavericks' biggest X factor. It's the unsung hero. It's why they're here right now.
Also, mention the fact that they only got him because they tanked last year to get him.
I think that's different, though.
They're
John, I think that's different because I think Bagley coming in was supposed to be, well, even in college, he was more of an offensive back to the basket big. In terms of Lively, he's always been that rim runner, defensive big. So it's a lot easier to come in and kind of just do what you were already doing as opposed to Bagley, him having to be the primary scorer. So it's definitely different. And, Lively definitely still a little raw. You can see on the offensive end, but defensively, the job has been pretty much the same. He's been able to perfect that to his ability. I do want to say this, though, because I think J-Dub, he is pretty young. Shet, they're all young. SG is 26 years old, so he's kind of the old guy of the group. But like Dehls just mentioned, people were putting him in top 20 talks. So for people who were putting him in those conversations or like putting him in those ascending him too early,
better than Jaylen
get
Brown.
those expectations. Now you get those expectations of now you have to show up as a reliable two. And unfortunately, in his first year, it's not a big deal to me because I feel like he's young. He'll be able to come back next year. But now you're going to get those conversations that he just did not perform.
Well, that's what it is. It's not. Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, because he's super young. You could be in these top 20 conversations when you're his age at 21, 22 years old. You could have regular season talks about being a borderline all-star. You could have regular season talks about being a top 20-ish player. You come into the playoffs, if you continue that, now you're stamped. It's like, okay, you did this at this age as a secondary option on a team that say if he plays so well, like you could be in the WCF potentially. Now it's stamped. Like this is one of the up and coming stars in this league. But on the other side, if he's struggling like he's doing doing this series, you get he's 21, 22 years old. He's still a great player. But I don't know if we could have really expected this. And I think that's fair. I don't know if we could really sit here and ridicule J-Dub for how he's been performing. He hasn't been shooting the greatest. I think at moments, the inefficiency really shows out, especially when you have SGA. It feels like the only consistent contributor to this offense in terms of creation, because you got shooters on this team. You got a ton of shooters on this team, but there's not a ton of guys that could create their own shot. That's where you really rely on J-Dub to be that secondary scoring option. So when he's not able to do that, I feel like the Thunder's offensive problems, kind of get glorified.
Well, I think, J-Dub, he's been fine for the entire playoffs. In the first round, he averaged 20. This is probably like his first bad game, really, of the playoffs. Even last game, he was great in the fourth quarter. Last game in Game 4. With J-Dub, I feel like it's just about kind of identifying how he's going to be more of an off-ball threat, because he's great attacking closeouts. But with the Mavs defensive game plan, whenever OKC's getting penetration, they are not rotating their bigs. So they are keeping somebody in the interior to protect the paint. But what they're also doing is that they're closing out really hard at the 3-point line. And J-Dub is using those opportunities to drive to the basket. Right. Therefore, Mavericks defenders are funneling him to that rim protection. So closing out hard on him has been intentional. I think the next step in his evolution is just being more willing to take a 3-point shot. There are just a lot of instances where he's pump faking. He's trying to get the defender in the air, but that's their game plan all along. They want to get you into the paint. They want you to keep making passes and taking time off the clock. So I think J-Dub is he just has to have more of a willingness to shoot the 3 ball. Isaiah Joe not hitting shots really surprised me. I feel like he had a ton of great and open looks. He should have hit them, but for the most part, like Lou Dort not hitting his shots, that wasn't surprising to me. Josh Giddey not hitting them, that wasn't surprising to me. But you got to get better support around SGA.
With the Mavericks, rarely. Sorry, brother. Go ahead and finish.
With the Mavericks, listen, I understand why the Mavericks fans only come to watch when a team win, and I don't mind it, because Dehls, after Aaron Rodgers was injured in week 1, I didn't watch no Jets content creator after that. I ain't do nothing.
I don't watch any.
I'm disinterested.
Where's the correlation?
If we lose a game, I'm not that interested. But here's the other thing. They not coming to the losses because they know all you're going to do is slander them. You're not going to be honest about them. You're just going to try to say they're trash.
In losses, you be honest.
You're going
never in a loss this series have I slandered PJ, because PJ has been
Luka last
pretty deservedly so.
They don't want to hear that. They want you to be honest. He was playing hurt. That's what he was doing.
But then tonight, when he is the Luka Doncic that we all have known and become accustomed to, he's still playing hurt. But oh my God, what a performance! I triple-double. This guy's amazing.
Yeah, because it's amazing that he could perform like that while being hurt. He's clearly hurt. It's not up for debate. He's clearly hurt. That's not a question.
He did not look hurt tonight.
But he is hurt, though. And that's not a question. It's not a question at all.
Sometimes you put on your best acting performances because the camera's always rolling.
That was like Cat at the end of yesterday's game when he goes off the floor. He starts limping off the floor after he just played the whole fourth quarter.
That's because he got his ass.
This is also what I want to say. And you were talking about it a little bit when you mentioned about Isaiah Joe, Joel. Now, I really just don't take into account the Inside the NBA crew whenever they give their analysis. I'm usually just there to listen and laugh. But Chuck actually said something that kind of stuck out, and it was pretty interesting, where he says, you changed your lineup for the first time this season, where you took Josh Giddey out and you put in Isaiah Joe. You saw Isaiah Joe come out there, get into some early foul trouble, but then also not hit his shots that you usually would see him hit off the bench. I do wonder if changing the lineup and just putting these guys in these moments where, again, this is your first time in this playoff setting, especially being one of the youngest teams we've seen in the playoffs period, but of course the youngest team in the playoffs this year. I do wonder if that did have a negative impact, not on just, of course, Giddey and his mental, who he's already been a mess on the court for Oklahoma City for some time, but of course, Isaiah Joe, who's been such a great spark plug for them off the bench, and you saw how he played tonight too. So that, again, usually never give Chuck his credit when it comes to analysis, but he actually had some validity there.
But I still feel like sorry, Dehls. We're just cutting each other off all night. Go, Dehls, go.
No, I was just gonna say Giddey actually hit some shots. Like, this was one of the better Giddey games we saw in this series, that he's coming off the bench. All of a sudden he somehow finds a rhythm doing that. And then on the opposite end, Isaiah Joe, who's been one of the best 3-point shooters in the NBA this season, just feels like he couldn't hit anything.
Have you ever watched Giddey play defense for like 3 possessions?
It's not great to watch. Not great at all.
Here's the thing is that I think even if there's some truth to what they said, I don't know who said it exactly, it's Mark Daigneault's fault, because clearly all year long, Giddey was a negative in the lineup. So this was a move that should have been happened, where Isaiah Joe or somebody else should have been starting in his place and build up that continuity. But even then, maybe some flow gets messed up. But the way that a lot of people talked about this series, it felt like that's like the magic potion that OKC takes, just bench Giddey, and now we should be unstoppable. But it's deeper than that. I think they just lack physicality. Dallas is a much more physical team, because if you look at the numbers game, like purely from an on-paper standpoint, OKC should be winning this series. They are the more efficient team, how they play offense and defense, but there's a physicality component to this. There's like kind of a composure component to this too, and Dallas just has more of it. This series is over. Dallas is winning at home. It's over in 6. This series is over. They have rest for 3 days, Thursday, Friday, then Saturday they have a night game. They're closing it out. This series is over.
Okay,
I'm with you on that.
Does OKC not have the same rest?
For Luka, it's more important because he's injured.
Right.
Good luck, Dallas. Hope all
Is that
goes
a
well.
I forgot. My fault. I forgot he's hurt.
Big thing, Joel, to wrap up this discussion. We've seen this postseason what the Thunder need. It's some time to develop for players like Jalen Williams who are still coming to their own. It's also that stand-up rim protector and that true 5 that can allow Chet to be more of a 4, because he can't for an entire game play the 5 on the offensive glass and really bring that physical edge that you need in the postseason. And I look around at the Cavaliers, who lost today, a team that has a lot of reports coming out. A lot of players are disgruntled. Look at the way Evan Mobley's played when he's the true 5. And I wonder if a guy like Jared Allen could be a potential, maybe a guy on the trade block that they could acquire or Luke to go after to kind of add that physical edge that they're going to need at times, for sure.
And your jump shot's going to fall even less when you have to play physical for the entire game. You're going to be more tired. It's not like in the regular season or against the Pelicans in first round where they're not fully healthy. This team is going to really be physical with you, and they're going to play at their own kind of pace. So I feel like that also took away from the legs of a lot of these players' jump shots.
I feel like the amount of injuries we've had this playoffs has kind of been like insane too. Like just everybody.
I like 2021.
The whole East. Everyone on the East. The West, low-key, is outside of Luka. Like most teams are able to stay healthy, but the East, everyone's been banged up. Everyone has significant injury, except the Pacers, I guess.
The Pacers are healthy. That's hilarious.
They lost Benedict Mathurin, but that was in the regular season.
That was mad long ago.
Yeah.
That doesn't count for the playoffs. At least it doesn't count.
Facts.
Yeah, doesn't count.
3 out of the 4, though.
Mr. Dehls, the Celtics have advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Congratulations, brother. I'm happy for you.
Never in doubt.
Fluke.
Yeah,
so really moved the whole lot.
There's one thing it's not. It's a fluke. 6 out of 8 years.
Right. Winning a chip would be a fluke because you don't do
that. I call it being due, but neither here nor there. Every once in a while, and by every once in a while, I mean these last 2 series, the Celtics lose a game. Believe it or not, they're 8-2 in their last 10 playoff games. They lost to Miami game 2. They shoot 50% from 3. They lose game 2 against the Cavs. I also think they shot around 50% from 3. And everyone goes crazy. Everyone's up in arms. The team sucks. Blow it up. Jason Tatum is our number 1 guy. Jason Tatum is Paul George. All of this shit that you hear on various networks, on various media people, even some on this very panel. And I sit here and I say, relax. We'll be okay. Celtics won 3 against.
Yeah, because the team got fucking hurt.
Now it's not your time, brother. You and all of your teams are in Cancun. I would like you to sit out this one. Thank you. Now we're going up against potentially the Knicks, potentially the Pacers. But let's talk about this game real quick. First of all, I don't know how much we're going to get into the whole JB Bickerstaff and Donovan Mitchell and all of that. But I think it'd be foolish to move off of him. I don't know how you could realistically judge what he did this season when you have Marcus Morris, who played his ass off today, and Tristan Thompson getting legitimate minutes in this series. It's really hard to judge a coach when you're this banged up. If you want to talk about last playoffs, going up against the Knicks and kind of getting embarrassed, I think that's valid. But I also don't know if it's fair to judge him off just one season then. If I'm the Cavaliers, I'm keeping Donovan Mitchell. I'm keeping Evan Mobley. Everyone else is on the table. I know you guys like Jared Allen. I like Jared Allen too. Darius Garland has some fans across the league. Both of those guys would be available if I'm the Cavaliers. I think Mobley has looked best this series when he's been alone, which he has been all series. But I think Mobley has looked the best when it's just him as the only big on the floor. He had 30 in this game. He was honestly killing us. It was, I think, partially terrible pick and roll defense from the Celtics, but he was hitting some good baskets. And the Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell combination, I think we've seen over these last couple of seasons, it's just not the best. It's just not the best fit. I think him on a team like potentially the Pelicans, which we were talking about last episode, a few teams that he could be kind of the main ball handler, the main guard, lead guard. That's the best position, but everyone else would be available. But shout out to Jason Tatum, phenomenal game, 25, 10, 9, 4 steals, 70% true shooting. Derek White had a big bounce back game. This was a fun game. It was close for majority of it. Fourth quarter, Celtics offense was the best it looked all game. It was a sight to see that in the fourth quarter. It was kind of clutch, kind of not clutch. It was around like 5 to 10 points in that fourth quarter, but they showed up. And I know Riv was watching every minute of it. I know Riv was seeing them Jason Tatum minutes in that fourth quarter where he was hitting just every read. He was hitting that pull-up 3 to seal the game. I know Riv was loving every second of it.
Did you watch it, Riv? Because I didn't. I was playing WWE. CM Punk just came out in the DLC.
Yeah, I got him.
Yeah,
I was watching it, Joel, because you know why I was watching it?
Were you watching it and crying as you watched Darius Garland break your heart?
No,
he had a great game as a playmaker.
He's had a horrible year. I've expected.
John, give it a rest. Give it a rest. I don't want to hear about the playmaking again.
No,
this is like the third time you've said it.
Who? John?
John, yes.
John's a sicko. No, his dog shit year, I puffed it up.
Miserable year. I'm just trying to find some positive things.
No, John would just go into the offseason lock-in, get better. But I was watching this game just like I watched last game, and I couldn't help but notice this team just keeps being in the game without their best player. That's what I kept noticing. The best player in the series is not on the court, and this team continues to fight with Boston. That was my hope. That's why I was watching, because why does this team without this goes 7? I don't care what nobody says. Dehls could sit there and he can do the little Tatum hoopla. He can throw a parade because they beat an unhealthy team. By the way,
we were 2-1 when Donovan Mitchell played. That means it would go 6 if we just extrapolated that.
Jared Allen didn't play. Respect him, please.
At all. No, you said Donovan Mitchell. I didn't say Jared Allen.
No, if Donovan Mitchell plays this series goes 7 to me. I firmly believe that.
Keep
6,
telling yourself that, brother.
You can say 6.
Do it in 2K. Let me know how it goes.
I mean, in 2K, hopefully they won't get hurt. They won't get hurt, bro.
Bro's bringing up hypotheticals. Really don't care.
I like this side of Dehls, man.
Listen, Dehls, you
stand on the Celtics winning the shit.
But the shit that's not moving me is that, again, you've played 2 teams that who cares that you beat them?
Drew. He won again. Congrats. You've made it to the ECF yet again. Hopefully, you can get that ring. You've been starving to do this.
No one cares,
brother.
Tyrese Halliburton, man, front runner.
Who?
You.
How am I? I'm here. We lose a game when the team shoots 50% from 3, and I'm here having to defend my Boston Celtics like I'm fucking the bodyguard of this team. I'm here win, lose, or draw.
You got to understand though, when it comes to the Boston Celtics, they're a heavyweight. You guys winning a series is like a heavyweight knocking out a cruiserweight. You can't bloat after you knock out a cruiserweight. You got to do that after you knock out a heavyweight. You over here acting like you don't want a championship.
What do you want me to do, brother? Everyone's hurt. There's
of course,
no team in the East that we can't play anyone that's healthy.
You were in a game.
That's why we're not out here giving you praise left and right.
So then why do you guys get on dick when we lose a game? Why is John getting on dick saying this is Paul George? Because Tatum has 2 bad games in the playoffs.
Paul George,
2 weeks will come back.
This is the reason why.
It was not rude. It was not rude. This is bias. This is confirmation bias. I'm going to stand on business in 2 weeks when we come back here.
Hold on. You were in a game in the fourth quarter, and Evan Mobley's their best offensive player. Yes, we're gonna
by 15 points.
Eventually, the game was you were up by 5 at the 8 minutes.
Okay, because the biggest question is the Celtics clutch time offense. The Celtics are going to choke in the fourth quarter. The Celtics won a clutch time game, albeit with an inferior team that sucked, and they played their ass off in the fourth quarter. It's it doesn't matter. They were playing ass teams.
This
That's
is the
point,
reason.
Dehls.
Is because
That is
if
the
a
point.
cruiserweight knocks down a heavyweight, everybody's gonna get up and celebrate.
Rey
That don't mean
Mysterio
they're
was
gonna
whipping your
win the
ass,
match,
Big Show.
but people gonna
Phew.
celebrate.
Rey Mysterio was never whipping our ass, brother. They never
You
led
lost
for a
the
second in
game.
the fourth
If
quarter.
you lost the game,
You couldn't
then he
guard
whipped your
Donovan
ass for
Mitchell.
one game. Yes, for one game he did.
Brother, y'all had
For one
nothing.
game,
Y'all had
they got
nothing for
one.
Donovan
I
Mitchell.
said,
Y'all
did I
did
not
not
say
have
the
any.
Y'all had
Celtics in
nothing
5?
for Donovan Mitchell. He looked at Brown, White, Holiday, and Tatum and said, every time, every single time. You had 4 All-NBA defenders. He laughed at every single one of them. You had
And he
nothing
won
for
one
him.
game in the 3 he played,
He only played 3 games, Dehls.
and he won 1. So
And he
why
had
do
better
I
than
care?
they
He had
are.
30
They're
almost every
better.
time. He killed you guys.
So well, I'm confused what the argument is here. If Donovan Mitchell plays, we win in 6 instead of 5.
Let me
Like,
ask you
congratulations,
something.
that's your
Let me-
fucking W.
Let me ask you
You're,
something,
you're
Dehls.
over here throwing a parade because you beat a Evan Mobley-led team.
Dehls.
That's what you're excited about.
You think
the
think
Celtics aren't being challenged in the way they're going to be if they make it to the finals?
Have
That is
the Celtics not been
ridiculous.
challenged every other year with the Jason Brown and Jason
that's
Jason
where the
Tatum and
Miami
Jalen Brown
Heat-
duo?
That's where the Miami Heat take them
Whoa.
out multiple times in the
You
conference
guys
finals.
went down 0-3
And we're sitting
to
here
the
saying
eighth
Caleb
seed
Martin
last
outplayed Jason
year.
Tatum once again.
Hold up.
What do
You
you
don't
mean
see
challenge?
you don't see the Denver Nuggets like if they beat the Timberwolves, which I mean they got all the momentum in the world. You're not gonna see them
Oh, brother,
be like,
Denver's
yeah,
ready.
we beat Minnesota. Yeah,
For
y'all was
straight.
talking crazy. Like, no, bro, they're just gonna move on and win a chip. They just gonna keep their mouth shut. They're just gonna keep moving forward. Celtics fans, y'all love, and that's the thing, y'all love to act like you guys are underdogs. You're not, and you love to put Tatum in every hypothetical situation too. That's the shit
I
that y'all
don't. Tatum gets brought up for no reason 9 times out of 10. Anytime any player does anything better than Jason Tatum. And Edwards
And
has 4 good games,
he's
better than
looking,
Jason Tatum.
And whenever
SG
and
has
whenever
1 good season, better than that Jason
and whenever
Tatum.
a player, whenever a
player,
player does bad, they're like, if this was Jason Tatum, he'd be getting slandered to the means of the earth.
because that's also
That
the
happens
other
all the
part of it.
time.
Jason Tatum has a bad 7 games to the start of this postseason, and now all of a sudden
That's a
this dude
lot. That's a
sucks.
series, brother.
7 is insane, bro.
That's a lot
7
of games.
is wicked.
7 is
But
crazy.
We
he's
have
been
a
cooking.
50-game
Last couple,
sample
he's been
size of
cooking.
Tatum in the playoffs, and y'all are overreacting to 7.
Hey, who's y'all? Don't put me in that. I
Don't
believe
get
in
off
If
Put
that
me in
was
that.
Tatum's
Don't put
first
me in
7
that.
games,
Point the guy
sure,
in the
that's
middle.
valid. But he has
Point
a
the guy in the
50-game
middle.
sample size. He has going on potentially 3 All-NBA first teams, 50 points in a game. Like,
There we go.
he has a resume at 26 years old of being a playoff performer, and he has 7 bad games, and all of a sudden he's ass. That's
Yeah,
why
well,
I get tight.
No, I'm a PG fan. I've never said that PG comment. You have to talk to the dudes upstairs, which are Joel
I'm
and
staying on
John.
business.
Yeah,
He is
stand on
vulnerable.
Listen, do your thing, John. I'm not a part of that. I'm not a part of that, man.
Bro, there's no way
I've
you
been
can
defending
convince
Tatum
me.
this year. Have I not, Dehls?
You haven't.
There's no way you can
what are we
convince me
doing?
that a team with a starting lineup of Derek White, Drew Tatum, Jalen Brown, and Chris
Donovan
Stops
Mitchell fried every single
should
one
be
of them.
Porzingis
losing
played
a
2
game
games.
to a team that had Tyler Hero as his best offensive player in the series, bro. Y'all
Okay.
lost to the Heat at least once. I
So
know
we
it was
were
not
not, like-
tonight, but still, they
I
best
don't know
offensive
what you're-
player was Tyler Hero, and they beat
Like,
y'all.
I get it. If you think the okay, I'm just a bit confused here. Y'all don't like Jason Tatum. You think he's ass. Let's keep it a stack. Drew, I'm not
No,
talking
we
to you.
don't
I'm
think
talking to
he's
these 2
ass.
knuckleheads above me. Y'all
No.
think he's
No.
ass.
He's
But
my
now the
third-grade player.
Celtics cannot lose a game. He sucks. We have a bad we don't have a top 10 player, but we can't lose a game.
We all have Tatum in our top
Bro,
10.
you have the best starting 5 in the league.
I don't. This is what I don't get, because y'all legitimately think Tatum's a number 2, but in the same breath, if we lose a game, we fucking suck.
Let me
Which
ask you
one is
something.
it?
Let me ask you something.
We think he's not a championship.
You're in the ECF. You're in the ECF. Are you impressed by how you got there? You impressed?
I don't think we played up to our standard.
Are you impressed by how you beat Miami in the first round and Cleveland in the second? Are you impressed? Are you satisfied with how
winning in 5 is something we have not done often, so I will
I
take it.
understand, but bring in context. Are you
To be
impressed?
fair, they spanked Miami like 3.
Hey, listen, winning this
games.
series
Yeah, I mean, all
without
4
Kristaps,
of our
no
wins we smoked
Kristaps,
them.
Joel, no Kristaps, and you still win in 5.
And let's keep it a stack. What,
They're
3 out of
missing
the 4 games against the Cavs were double-digit wins?
Towards the
Riv,
end, yeah,
have you been impressed? Have you been impressed
with the way they beat the Cavs.
with the way they've won games and gone to the ECF right now?
I think against the Miami, they handled business, but
They
like
did.
no Jimmy Butler, so it's like all right. And then against Cleveland, I thought the first 3 games were really good. The last 2 games came down to the wire. like in the 5-minute mark, and then Boston, their talent gap started to show. But I'm not impressed.
Something. You more impressed by how Denver beat the Lakers in the first round, or any of the teams Boston has beat to get to the ECF?
I mean, that's an easy answer.
It's Denver, right? Consensus.
Of course.
Denver
I
won
mean,
that series
against Miami, we had a margin of victory of like 20 points.
So you can still win in 5, but something could be deemed impressive and not impressive. The way Denver beat LA, that was impressive. The way y'all have beat Cleveland and Miami, that does not been
let me just play contrarian here. I'll play contrarian here. A lot of people's analysis for picking the Wolves over the Nuggets was that the Nuggets didn't look that good against the Lakers.
Yeah.
I'm confused. Time out. It's more impressive to be down 20 to a inferior team in the Lakers and come back than to just straight up smoke the Heat in 4 of the 5 games.
That comeback was
the Lakers are a great team.
Yes,
the Lakers
why
are a great
down
team
20 in the first place.
The Lakers would make the Eastern Conference Finals in the East. I just want to let you know that.
The Lakers
should
would
be down 20 every game to them if you're Denver, bro.
No, the Lakers would be an ECF team in the
Lakers
East.
would go to the finals if we were in the East. I don't give a
now
fuck.
you're in Cancun.
The way Denver maneuvered in the clutch, those games were amazing. The way Jamal Murray hit those game winners, that was very impressive.
The Nuggets shot like shit in that series, but they showed they can still win in ugly ways. And that's something the Celtics really struggle with. That ability to win when everything's not going your way.
The Celtics this game shot well. The last 2 wins against the Cavs, they did not shoot well.
They're shooting 35% from 3 before this game. But overall, in this entire series,
are we 35%? Like, oh my God, like that's kind of league average.
This is how it goes every year at the Celtics. Right now, the biggest thing to me is that they're missing Kristaps Porzingis big time. The rim protection, the amount of length that he brings is going to be pretty essential, especially if you get to the finals.
How big is he, Denver?
But with that calf injury, you do have to wonder how good he's going to look if he's going to be able to play at the same capacity if you're healthy. And then you look at the rest of the Celtics. Without Porzingis, when you get to the finals, I'm expecting you guys to get there. The Knicks and the Pacers don't belong, and the Knicks, quite frankly, are missing half the rotation. Yes. I don't know how the Celtics are going to be able to keep up with a team like Denver in the half-court offense. And this postseason, we have not learned much new about the team because they haven't been challenged in the ways they were like last year. And specifically in the conference finals after the second round.
No, your ECF run is like a kid at a birthday party hitting the pinata with no blindfold.
Do you see what the Joker is doing in Minnesota? They are fucked. They have nothing for him. It's over. When they see Denver, the Joker is going to pour 40 a night on these dudes.
This is why the arguments are pointless to me. Because it's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If you win the games, you're expected. If you lose the games, how do you lose a game? Like that's why it's like, what's the point of sitting here and having a conversation about it if like the outcome's the same both ways?
See you in the finals. I'm honestly, if you done won every game by 20, I'd be like, okay, there's maybe we're seeing something.
I mean, we've had 8 wins, 6 out of the 8 are double digits, and like 4 of the 8 are by like 20. Like I'm sorry we didn't win every game by 20. Went 8.
How many of those teams were healthy?
0.
None of them. We weren't healthy for 80% of our games too.
You're missing one player.
Yeah, Porzingis.
You're missing what people have been telling me, the second best player on the team all season long.
That's possible. You're playing a Cavs team that are missing 3 of their scores. Not scores, pardon me. 3 of their best players.
They're 2 best players.
No, the Cavs at the end got fucked.
The Knicks are missing half the rotation. They just beat the Pacers by 40.
Yeah, Pacers suck.
No, they're a pretty solid team.
You just said they don't belong. You just said they don't belong, Tom.
We got him. We got him.
I said they don't belong in the finals, but they're solid.
I understand what you're saying, dude. You should have just left the Pacers alone, though. You wanted to defend their honor for a little bit. We got super chats here from CRB. Congratulations, Joel. It finally took Luka 10 playoff games to have the playoff game you wanted. Respect Game 4 against the Clippers.
This is my burner.
What are you talking about? P.S. I am a local graphic designer. Let me know if you want to talk about a rebrand. It's a way to promote yourself, man. Send a super chat in because you're guaranteed to get a comment read. Drop your Instagram in the comment section after this live is over, and then I can see your work. Ricky goes, Kyrie 13-0 in closeout games. Can't wait to see Joel be right about another Mavs take, while Riv, Dehls, and Drew take an L on a bad Mavs take.
So OKC and 6 is an L bad take. All right,
that's right. If they don't lose this round, they'll lose next round. I actually pray to God they beat Denver.
Thing we got into, and PJ Washington, you didn't give him his respect.
PJ Washington has never played this good.
I'm not moved by PJ Washington's defense. I'm not.
No, I'm saying, are you moved by him as a player?
as a shooter in the corner for sure.
No,
gets
as
some wide
a
open looks
role
in that
player
corner.
for the Dallas Mavericks.
He's a shooter in the corner. He hits his shots. He's perfect.
That's
for them.
not even
That's
all he is, man.
disrespectful.
He
He's done a
attacks
lot more.
closeouts. He
kind of what
rebounds
he
the ball
is.
well.
That's kind of what he is. Good
He
rebound.
does defend well.
Good rebound.
You made it seem like this man was the next coming of damn near Tony Allen.
No,
bro.
I didn't. I just made it seem like he can play great defense.
Little
That's
bit,
all
Great,
I
Joel.
said.
great.
Well,
You're
great
losing.
defense.
He's not a great defender. He's all right. He's cool.
pretty
He's
good.
a body.
Done him
He's a
pretty
body.
well.
What do you think, John? Because John, he doesn't like PJ
John
Washington.
That's
went
not
on
true.
Twitter.
Well,
and
at
said
one
PJ
point,
Washington was the truth.
And hold up.
I can't believe
One
what
tweet,
John's saying, man.
one tweet does not summarize my view on a player.
Nah.
Part of it.
That was
You
unnecessary.
are Joel's
That
son,
was
bro. I
unnecessary.
can't do this.
Because
man.
Hold on.
Joel's
This kind
asking
of
him 'cause
aggravates
he
me.
knows he's
This
going
kind
to
of
agree
aggravates
with
me.
him.
No,
Adam
listen,
Donald,
this is
I don't have the time to make the content. But look, the tweet was that he was getting blown by on Harden. Topic for another day. Overall, this postseason taught me a lot of stuff that's new about PJ. And Joel, one of your tweets was actually comparing him to Rui last year, where when a player goes from a losing environment to a place where he has an entire ecosystem built around him, his strengths and what he has not shown in the past can kind of come to light. And PJ's really been one of the biggest playoff risers. My perspective of him changed quite a bit. Better defender and rebounder than I anticipated. I'm not saying I'm a PJ hater. I'm not saying disrespectful. He's been playing very well in his role.
Well,
I'll give him that credit.
Say that, Joel. I'm still a hater. What the hell?
All I meant to say. Well, you're still. What do you mean? You're still a hater?
Riser?
Huh?
John just called PJ Washington a playoff riser.
Yeah.
For
His
role player
stats
standards,
are
yes.
rising
I
a
mean, he has risen in the playoffs.
What
do you mean?
We don't use that for role players.
Is
We
Derrick
don't.
Jones
We never
Jr.
do.
playoff
We
riser?
never do.
Whoa, that's
never-
not true.
No,
You don't have to roll
hold up.
players.
No, Riv. Derek
Hold on,
White
hold on,
last
please.
year. Derek
I gotta
White
get this
last
question
year.
though. Please, I gotta get this question. Dehls, when the hell have we said
Rajon
a role
Rondo
player was a playoff riser?
Derek
Rajon
White.
Rondo.
Alex Caruso.
Alex, all right. That's not the greatest of examples.
Riv.
That's
Was
not the
Derek White
greatest of
last
examples.
postseason a playoff riser?
Not really. Not really.
Oh, bro, hold on. Wait,
Oh,
for
my.
one thing, being a playoff riser isn't just exclusive to superstars. If you take your game from the regular season and up it in the postseason, that's rising.
Has Aaron
raising up
Gordon
your game to
low-key
playoffs.
not been a playoff riser in
For
this
example.
series?
Yes.
PJ Washington's
That
very
brother's
similar.
playing like
Very
an
similar.
all-star. Shout out to him.
Yeah, OD. All right,
PJ,
Rajon
didn't he have
Rondo's another one.
didn't PJ have consecutive 20-point games? He was
Yeah.
playing amazing too.
PJ
Wait, Riv, did you
PJ
say Aaron
Washington
Gordon's an
is-
all-star?
No, I say he's playing like an all-star.
Playing like it.
Okay. And a year ago, I had a
wait,
tweet that you should
no.
make an all-star game, and you gave me a lot of shit for that.
He hasn't made one, so you're still off. It's still wrong. The tweet is
It's
still garbage.
acknowledging you can't
You're
track
not,
it down.
you're not getting that tweet.
It's not
off.
about making it. It's about he thinks he deserves it.
No. See, you two. I can't.
What do you
All right, here we
mean?
go.
That's
Here
what
we
it
go.
is.
Playoff riser, Josh Hart, role player.
Yeah, that's one of
He's
the
kind of also doing that necessity.
DiVincenzo, same
Still-
thing.
DiVincenzo's been
there
up
we
and
go.
down. He's been up
No,
and down.
DiVincenzo been majority cooking.
He-
Majority
I know.
cooking.
He's had a couple games where he's been.
He's had some. His lows be hilarious. Listen, I will say about PJ Washington, he's doing a job. He's doing very well at
Damn
his job.
doing a great job.
He's doing a
You're
great job.
He's doing a great
being
job.
A great role player.
Respect to him.
He's hitting open threes when he needs to. He's attacking closeouts well. He's a great rebounder for them. The
playing
defense, I
good
won't say
defense.
great. We'll meet at the
playing
middle.
good
He's
defense.
good. He's
Playing
good.
good
We're good.
defense.
We're gonna meet at the middle. We're gonna meet in the middle. Say he's playing good.
He's a
defense.
great enforcer.
He
he's
does
gonna get in your
talk
freaking
nonsense.
face.
I'm not cool with that.
What do you
Nah,
mean?
bro, they were riding him for like, yeah, get that shit out of here, boy. And then they ended up losing. That
Bro,
shit
he's
lost
the
me.
he's
But
the first
hey, they
one
won
to
game
be
5,
the
so they're
enforcer
up.
on the team. What are we talking about,
He's playing well.
man? It's
I've
just
just never-
something with
I've just
it's
never heard
something-
playoff riser for role play. That's all
It's
I've never heard.
just something with my fascination with PJs, man. PJ Tucker, now PJ Washington. I love PJs.
Oh, he's better than PJ Tucker.
PJ Tucker has never done this.
Ricky goes, I want to see what Drew has to say about
That's
Dallas's defense. Held OKC to under 100. Mavs third time in the playoffs holding opponents under 100
Tell
points.
J-Dub to wake the fuck up. That's what I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Please wake up.
This isn't a super chat. SpongeBob hates your vids.
Yo,
What
you're
about
nuts. You're nuts.
instead of pick a side, it was pick a freak, and Riv got oiled up and twerked on camera.
Why would I do it? Why did he choose me?
John had to take himself out of there so he could laugh like an idiot. I'm fucking crying.
Work on camera, right? Okay.
Nah, I saw that comment. My eyes widened like hell. You could
felt
see it
bad
if
for
you
Dehls.
go
I
back
felt
and
bad.
watch. John and I both had an immediate reaction, but I did not think that he would actually put it up.
That's what Booty Liquor wants to do to John. Booty Liquor is always in them comments.
There's a
Booty
time
Liquor
and a
loves
place,
himself
Joel.
some John.
Is the time
Damian-
and the place? Oh, never mind.
If the Celtics
Joel,
were in
what
the
did we
West,
talk
Well,
about?
Well, Joel, too far.
Yes, brother.
instead, the last 6 years, do they still make all those conference finals? So if the Celtics were in the West, do they make the conference finals?
Last
voters?
6 years, probably not 6 of 8. No,
Last year, no.
2022?
2022 they
no.
probably do.
Yes. 2020? No.
No.
2018. 2018, definitely not. 2017.
2019, no.
It depends on your
2019
seeding.
they didn't make it because that was their last year, Kyrie.
Yeah.
Tell you what, man, it's a shame Boston's not on the West Coast because then this question would matter.
2017, no.
Well, it's
2022, they're not
highlighted.
making it, brother. Let's just call it how we see it.
2016, no.
Years teams like the 2020 Lakers.
Man,
Last year, hell no.
Eastern Conference merchants, man.
Yeah, the Knicks about to make their first one. Let's go.
Fuck you. Santos goes, Mavs fans want to show up now.
And Santos, he be keeping it 100. He's talking.
Well,
I
thank
respect
you. Thank
He
you,
watches
Mavericks
every
fans, for
episode.
showing up because we almost got 500 people in this stream. We almost eclipsed 500. This is
Listen,
great.
Mavs
This is a great way
fans.
to end off the night.
Nah, and I'm gonna ruin the vibe right now. Listen, Mavs fans, you think I'm moved? I promise you, I'm not. Congrats on your win. Enjoy it. I hope it's great. And I hope to see you the next time in game 6, win or lose. At least be honorable and show up, win or lose.
Is the
That's all
game
I'm
in the
gonna say.
afternoon?
But you're losing to Denver anyway. So this doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Enjoy it. Listen, enjoy going. And like you got invited to the party, but like it's like a pity invite. And it's like someone has to be invited just
Counting in the
'cause.
conference finals.
Congrats.
Only four teams in the conference finals.
Not really moved by it. Again,
No,
you
the
we just went
Joker
over
is,
it, and the Celtics made like
yeah.
6 of 8, even though a lot of them they weren't really that great.
Joel, are
know,
you scared for
someone's
what
gotta
the
make it.
Joker might do to Gafford and Lively?
It's the Joker, brother.
It
Yeah.
might be like
Denver
like
and 5.
an exorcism. Like it's gonna be bad.
Yeah, Denver and 5.
Need
Well, I'll
Dallas
tell you
to win
one
that
thing. You
series.
got a better chance of that coming true.
I might have to go that extra mile and say Denver and 4, but hey, I respect
Yeah,
Luka.
Dallas
Yeah,
and
If,
seven.
if you went bold with OKC, LA,
No, Denver though.
might as well.
They're slowly
Dallas-
trying.
Dallas
I might have to
find
go
a way to
Denver
win
and
that
4, but I
series, man.
respect Luka. Luka gets 1,
Keeps
right?
the
I mean, the
NBA.
greats get 1.
I mean,
won't
listen,
get
DeMar
Jokic
DeRozan
Luka should
got
get
one.
4.
Jokic is on an all-time pace. I mean, what he's doing right now is a better 4-year peak than anything Steph Curry
Joel,
has
you
done.
were lucky as hell. The conversation we were having the other day wasn't on the podcast, and it was just off air.
Yo, the one
what
he's talking about
conversation?
Ant-Man being the best in the world, right? No, I'm gonna rat him out for sure. Yeah, definitely. He definitely. No, fuck all that.
That shit
Yeah, I
was
don't think I forgot that. This man, before the show, I wish we had a camera up. This man was running his mouth. I'll give him credit. He was high, so he was definitely a little up in the air. And he was like, "This was 2 games in. What if Ant-Man shocks the world and wins it all? I think you can make an argument he's the best in the world." Right after that, literally, the Joker said, "Fuck what Joel's talking about," and just started destroying Minnesota badly.
But
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards, he
Stop.
put up. He
You
was
saw him in
great.
game
He was
five-
great
four.
in game
Yo,
4.
Joel, I'm gonna be honest. His 40 was it was great. But when you see it, Joker, the way he was just controlling the game, bro, no.
Oh
it
no,
wasn't
I
the
ain't,
same
I,
level.
ain't, I ain't saying he was
I
better than
keep trying to
Jokic,
tell
but I'm
you this.
saying Anthony
That's not
Edwards
close.
was the only reason why they were held to flow in that game. Game 5, he didn't play up to his standards. There's no doubt about that. I mean, it's fair. I mean, if you go on a historic Dwayne Wade like run and nobody's ever seen,
But that was
yeah,
2
bro.
games in. Yeah, it's
Yeah, because
He
Anthony,
never
Anthony
would've been
Edwards is
better than
still like
Jokic.
that. I mean,
There's no
at
world.
worst, he's entering the top 10 conversation.
You know
Right
what
now.
they did,
And-
and
and-
that's
and by
why
the
he
way,
wasn't good last
he's
game.
top 10
They
player.
actually doubled him. They actually put a double team
no
on
Mike
him.
Conley was
Yeah.
there, right?
No, he was doubled like 45 times. No, but another thing though,
I didn't
is
know
that
that exact number.
because I seen the stat. The exact conversation wasn't Anthony Edwards versus Jokic, leaving out context. It was, can Anthony Edwards be a top 5 player if he
You're
pulls
lying.
it off?
You're lying.
That was the conversation.
Joel, you said best in the
lying.
world.
Thank you,
You
Dehls.
said Joker. You said it's a conversation. I said you're out of your mind.
But then I said, no, can he make that jump to like a top 5 player in the world if he completes a run?
And
That's what
that's
I said.
when we said, okay, if he wins a chip, Finals MVP, sure, he's probably top 5.
No, that's the argument I had with Riv. Riv said no.
You said I think there's a good argument if he wins that he can be best in the world. You said that,
Bro.
You're
Riv,
getting
your
outed.
your entire argument was that if Anthony Edwards were to accomplish that, there is no way you can see a player moving from where he is right now to being a top 5 player in the world. That's what your argument was. It wasn't solely Jokic versus Ant-Man, by the way.
Thank you, Dehls.
It wasn't solely Jokic versus Ant-Man.
Yeah, nah, he did.
What do you
Yeah,
mean?
he did.
You got to
It was
listen to
one.
2 high guys. You guys were high too. So
We were all high.
your memory was jaded.
Well, we've heard you say some crazy things about Anthony Edwards. You were like, it wasn't too long ago. You said Anthony Edwards is going to retire a top 20 player all time.
Well, that's very well still in play, and it can happen, and it will happen. It will happen. Have you seen his postseason number?
He's
Come on. Michael Jordan ain't win his first ring until he was like 28 or 30 years old, right? What was his age?
I'll be honest. Michael Jordan has never had a team this
MJ,
good
LeBron.
until like 28. So,
27.
Might have just broken my toe. Actually,
Tatum's gonna do it at 26. Gonna be magical, man. They're gonna write stories about him.
Y'all know that ain't happening.
Didn't
To
just
wrap
have a
up.
stinker yesterday, Joel?
Ant?
Yeah.
You waited a long time to bring that up because it hasn't happened yet.
No, I actually
waited a long time.
I asked you a question.
Waited a long time.
What
Watch
the
the
hell?
get back. You know that Anthony Edwards told
I can't
a
question
Denver
you.
worker at the arena, we'll be back for game 7.
Nobody cares what he be talking
The
about.
lore of Anthony Edwards, it runs deep, baby.
Didn't he
Did he
say
say they were
before
winning game 5?
Didn't he say before game 5 to Jamal Murray? He's like, yeah, we'll be back talking that shit, and then had a stinker after
He
that.
guarded him well. Did you see
Oh.
defense on him?
You know what's crazy? Jamal hasn't even been that crazy. Jamal
No.
Murray hasn't been that great.
He's not
Aaron
healthy.
Gordon.
It's been Aaron Gordon,
It really has
Nope.
been.
the Joker, man. Losing to Aaron Gordon, the Joker. That's a different
Respect
vibe.
Aaron Gordon, please, brother.
If you got
Respect the
telepathy
Joker.
like no
You said
other.
Ant-Man could
I
be
do
over
respect the
it. No,
Joker.
you don't. That
Yes, I
disrespectful
do.
shit you were
What
saying.
are you talking about?
Embarrassing. This
He's
guy,
on segments
bro.
defending him.
This guy, man.
For Mimo goes 2017 Cavs versus this East. Do they make it out?
Duh.
What about the
What kind of
2018 Cavs?
fucking
as well?
question is this? Of course.
2017.
2018 Cavs, no.
2017 Cavs walk Boston down?
2018 Cavs now.
They win 6.
Probably not.
18,
No
no.
shot.
If the 2018 Cavs make it out of the finals, Tatum would be under allegations for the rest of his career. That
They
being
almost
said,
lost to
no, they
rookie
wouldn't.
Tatum that year.
Exactly. They did almost lose, but didn't, sadly.
2017 Cavs definitely walk y'all down, Dehls. I'm
Easy.
sorry.
Easy.
So Ricky is giving us a clarification on the shirts he sent. I sent those shirts to Riv and Drew because they picked the Clippers. Much love and respect to you guys. By the
So-
way, Riv, I still remember what you said.
I don't remember what I said. You got to remind me, Ricky. I'm sorry. I say a lot.
Okay, Ricky, drop that down in the comments because we are going off the live right now. Thank you all guys for joining. I love when it's all of us here, man, on this live reaction. I love the energy. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to drop a like. Make sure to subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.